Good evening, everybody. This is your Captain Trance 75. Just a quick video on speed base building with one person. Obviously, more people will make it better. You need to find yourself a nice flat area, large enough to contain a base. You need to check your map when you get to the area you're at. Okay, and you need to find out where enemies are likely to come from. Okay, the VS is over here. I'm playing NC. So over to the west there, both the lattice roads coming along come from that direction. It's less likely for them to come that way, so I'm going to face the base towards that way. If I was further north of the map, I might face it north. Now the front of the base is always where the anti-vehicle turret and the air terminal is. The back of the base is where the silo is. As if by magic there's a silo appeared with some quartering in it. Fantastic. Let's get started. Okay, this is where you start. You want to get used to doing things in this order. By the way, you always build with an engineer. So this is the loadout I use, which is also my vehicle pilot loadout. So you've got a short bow or archer, so you can shoot vehicles. You've also got explosive arrowheads. I have a Spitfire, so that when I've built part of the base, I can put a Spitfire down on a wall or something to guard me while I build the rest. I've got Mine Carrier 2 and 5 mines in total, so that I can mine the entrance to the base against vehicles and stuff. Very useful. Okay, without further ado, first item, always light air terminal. So I'm going to angle it slightly here so that it's in a direct kind of line with the silo. So the silo and the air terminal are kind of in at right angles with each other, roughly. Doesn't matter if it's not exact. Okay, so once you've done that, it's then up to the vehicle tower. Now, this is the bit you want to consider. You want to check your map again. So I'm facing that way. So enemies are going to come from that way, but they could also come from any of these directions. So I'm going to put the vehicle tower on this side. Alright, and the way you do it is this: you square up with this air terminal here, okay, so that you're facing it right angles 90 degrees. It's in the ground, but there's actually a little step lip thing there. Okay, you get up against that, you face like that, and then you strafe sideways and put it about that far out. Doesn't matter too much with the first one, it's the second one that matters. So that's the vehicle tower. Now you want to make sure your aircraft turret is the second one to go up. Aircraft turret always goes where the air terminal is. The anti-personnel one goes away from the aircraft tower. The reason for that is if you put the personnel turret by the aircraft terminal, it will be blocked. If it's trying to fire at someone who's inside the base, it will be blocked by the landing platform itself. So you always want to put that at the back, which is the back again is where the silo is. Okay, so second turret. So there was the first one. So I'm going to do the same again here. I'm going to line up at 90 degrees with that. I'm going to get level roughly with where I think the step is. And I'm going to go sideways till the edge of the red build circle with the other turret. Right on the edge of it, I'm going to pop that up. And now, because I've done that, I'll be able to build a wall across them that I can then build around. But what we need to do is get the last turret up. I'm going to do exactly how I would do it if I needed to build a full base in a hurry. So, but with obviously lots of talking involved. Right, there's the two red build circles for the two turrets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this turret around sideways. And I'm going to try and fit it in like that. There we go. Just like that. Yes, if you notice how close that is to the silo, it's pretty damn close. The build point of each gun tower is always the back side of it, the back side. So, oh shit. I need to get the sky shield up, but you always, the next one you put up is always the turret AI module, always. The three things, you need to make sure they're all green. So I'm just going to quickly pop this up. Unfortunately, I have to put it this side. Sometimes you've got to wiggle it, because they've all got to stay green. So those front two turrets and the back one will be powered by this one module. At least they should be anyway. Right. Skywall shield next. Always, always, always. You want to angle it towards the side the enemies are. So if they were attacking, likely to attack from that direction, you put it just slightly off center on this side because of the stairs. You can't put it right in the middle. So, but for me, I'm going to try and put it dead center if I can. There we go. So let me put it right in the middle. So that's excellent. Structure shield module. You're going to, because we're going to be using the original walls, which is what you definitely want to do. It's okay because we're on flat ground. You can use the larger walls. I'll show you what I mean. These are the special solid walls that you can get. They're higher, or at least they feel higher. They're more intimidating, but there's no gaps to fire through, and also you can't fill up your silo with the ant through the solid wall, whereas you can through these. You can just aim your laser through and you can get the silo without even entering the base. It's just better to get into the habit of using these. They're more versatile. They're better for building on slants and hills and dips and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the best place to build one of these bases is in a massive dip, like a big hollow or something, where you basically can cap the whole thing off with a sky shield so that your turrets can fire out but nobody can fire in. But we're going for a straight bog standard base here. Right, so front wall always goes on the front of the base between the two turrets that you've placed at nice right angles thanks to the aircraft terminal. So in order to flip so that we're on the outside of the wall, we're going to look straight up in the air and just turn it like that. Sometimes you have to give it a few tweaks. There we go, that's dead straight. And then you just need to walk away for a little bit. Now what I need to do is I need to get it so that it's a bit difficult to see because of this annoying lip of land, but I can still tell that that is fine. So you see, if you look at the right hand turret, you see there's two parts of the structure that are just poking through the red of the wall there. See, there they are. Yeah? You can get that with both the same on both turrets or both sides. Then you need to strafe left and right to make sure the same amount of wall is sticking out the side of each turret. That is about right. So the same amount of wall is exposed either side, and then you just walk backwards like that until it goes green. And then you just get on the edge of the green, and then you just lift it up high as it goes. Here we go until we place it. There we go. It's a little bit more difficult to see what was going on because I was just standing in a hollow there, but just showing you how I normally do it. Now you've got exactly the same amount of wall sticking out from both sides, so that's perfecto. Next wall. Doesn't matter which side you start with. The back of the base is always where the energy gate goes that you can drive through and fill up the silo and drive vehicles into the base. It goes on the back. So, right, and this is how you line up. Because you've got a nice wall at straight angles with everything else, straight right angles with everything else, now it's easy to do the side walls. What you do is this. See this turret right in front of me here? I'm going to get directly behind it. Now obviously if you go to the side, you can see the sides of it. You want to go right behind it, so in a 3D sense. So you're at right angles with it, and then you walk back, spin the wall round, put it in the ground slightly. In fact, you can do it away like that. You want to spin the wall so that you're looking down the length of it like a pool cue. It'd be a bit fiddly sometimes. I'll do. And then what you do is this. You just look towards the turret, get directly behind the turret again. You walk back a little bit. Take 2 meters, step 2 meters to the right. Walk backwards. So now look at the end of my red wall here. It's passing through the wall that's already built. See, it's disappearing, going like that. So what you do is you just get just the tip of it. So it just passes through it like that, and then you walk backwards slowly, little taps till it goes green, right? Then you take a step forward like that, and that's what you do. And now you can just, as long as you're not moving your guy, you can basically get this. You're not taking any steps left, right, whatever. You're just turning your camera. You can just move around freely then with your looking, and you can fit it right up close. To the wall. Let's get the next one up. And you do the same again, so you angle the camera down. So when you're building the front wall, that one at the front there, you look up to spin it round so you're on the outside. If you're building the side walls, you look down into the ground slightly and you line the walls up like that. Right, when doing the third wall, the last wall, so here I am directly lined up behind that turret in front of me there. I have to look at this wall as well. I have to take that into account because I'm going to be building a gate across here. Now that's quite close to me, so I'm going to walk away from it a little bit. Maybe there-ish, something like that. Okay, see now I'm to the side of the turret a little bit, which is perfect. So now I need to walk back until the end of the wall. If you see, like, just in the distance there, it's going through the wall again, like that. So you just get a little bit overlapping. You walk back until it goes green, little taps, and then you do a tap forward, like that. And then you can move freely again, and you can level up, if you've got the right distance. You just got to get it, just like that. Let's go and see how we did. So we got a perfect join there. Nobody's walking through there. No infiltrators sneaking in. Let's check this side. Not so good that side. That's okay. It's quite close though. It's harder to hit the silo because the silo's at the back, so that's fine. Righty ho then. So I'm just going to throw a repair module down now. Now you want this to enclose everything in the base. You only need to use one. You need to use, this is a one of everything base. Okay. So what you do is you go like that. So you're in the centre. So you're looking down the centre. You just run forwards till everything goes green. So you know where to put it. Right. So you know that to get everything, I have to put it just in front of the silo there. So I'm going to put it just there. And that's everything with one, which we just love. We love that. And then there's the spawn tube. Right, spawn tube. Now, normally if you're on the ground, I've built this up high, but if you're building a base on the ground, you have to look around and see, see that cliff over there? Now, you have to think, this takes some knowledge of the game and the map and stuff, but can a vehicle get up there and fire down on me? It probably can, but it's not very likely. But yeah, you just basically need to put the spawn tube in a place where it can't be sniped at from on high and is not instantly visible when someone first enters the base. So I try, so on this occasion I'm placing it up against, so this is usually where I put it, this or on the other side, but at the front there, so it's just tucks in against the side so it can't be fired at easily. And then press E to bind, which means I can now spawn at that spawn tube anywhere in the map, and so can your friends. Just pop it through. I haven't got an alarm module down yet. I'll throw one of those down as well. Why not? Let's just stick that over there. So that's one of all the modules down. Now let's put the back gate down. Vehicle gate. Love it. So, vehicle gate. So you should have... The great thing about these vehicle gates is there's two sets of pillars on the right hand side. You see there's one pillar on the left and two on the right. That's handy if you get the size of the gate wrong, which I've done here. Okay, that's fine though, because it matches up with the inner one, and if it was wider you can match it with the outer one. It also doesn't matter if you have overhang on the left there. You need the stairs facing outwards. Luckily when you switch over to it, it's already set up right, perfectly at right angle for you to be on the outside, so that's fine. So the front wall and the back gate always go, you do from the outside. Right, so to line this up, you've got to just get the same amount of wall poking through both pillars on either side, so it looks virtually the same on both sides, like about there. That's about right. I'm just going to give it a little spin. I'll do. And he walk back. Just goes in the green. And place it like that. I haven't spent as much time as I normally do. There you go. Perfect join there. Any guesses is good, and an even better join there. That's a perfect base. There's only one gap people can get through, which is fine. It's better when there's none, but almost nobody builds it first time. If I had the time, I would delete that wall and just redo that part. which is pretty easy to fit in because you're just lining things up and stuff. So got all the turrets up, got the walls up. Next, I'll put the routing spire up first. Doesn't matter where you throw it because I'm not putting anything else big in here. I'm going to put it on the same side as the spawn tube though, so you can do a quick run from the spawn tube to the routing spire to the flight terminal to run your routers out. If there's more than one of you though running routers at any one time from the same base, then what you need to do is the following. Now if you notice, I don't know if you can see from here, you see in the distance there's a yellow line going around on the ground over there. That is the distance, the maximum distance that you can build from your silo, okay, where it will survive. So if I put this routing spire outside the yellow circle, okay, I'll run over to it. And if you put the routing spire outside the yellow circle, then it will just slowly decay and die very quickly on its own because there's nothing to display. See, there's the yellow line, there's the edge of your build area. It's quite a massive area, as you can see. If there's 2 or 3 of you running routers, you can do that because only you, the person who owns the routing spire, can actually operate the router for that spire. So if there's 2 of you, you need to put the opposite directions from the silo because you have to have a large amount of space between each routing spire. It's just the way they've done it. So about this distance away, say where I'm standing here, is about perfect, so that if there's 2 of you, the other person can run their routing spire in the opposite direction from this, which is southwest, the way I'm facing, so the other side of the base. Or if there's 3 of you, then you build it in a triangle around the base, so you might go off over here, for example. You know, just line up with the walls and then just come a bit further out and do that sort of thing. And then you just put it on 3 points of the compass, or 4 points of the compass. If there's 4 of you, however, it is possible to have 4 silos in one base, but to do that you need to build them right on the edge of the yellow circle. So you have to go up to the 4 points of the compass, put it right on the line, so it's just inside the line, and then you can get 4 in. But 3 is easily doable without too much hassle, so just aim for 3. But if there's just 1 of you, which there is right now, I'm going to plot mine just in here, like so. Next, paint spire. For the paint, start getting into the base. Right, because I've built it so tightly at the side of the gate and they can't sneak in there, I'm going to place it, I'm just going to bring it a bit closer to me. I'm going to try and get it right in the centre of the energy of the gate here. I'm going to walk back till it goes green. Can't build inside it, got to be just inside. I'm going to take it up to max height and then I'm just going to lower it a bit. Now with the paint spires, the paint field comes from, it starts about there and it stops just about there at the top of this thing, yeah. So basically you can calibrate it. So if you're building on a hill, say there was stuff down here that I wanted to protect, then what I'll do is I'll build that lower into the ground a little bit so that the paint field went through the ground, but also got people uphill as well. So yeah, it sounds complicated, it kind of is, but once you figure it out you'll be fine. They used to be able to see the paint field for a short while with updates and stuff, but they got rid of it. But yeah, you get used to it. Okay. Next, you put the, as I showed you, the mines down, which is the larger side. This is larger, so I'm going to put 3 this side. I've got 5 in total to spend. Reason why you put them up against the inside of the energy shield like this is if the tank pulls up outside and he sees them, which isn't certain, he won't be able to blow them up with his gun because they're protected. Even though they're right up against the wall, they won't blow up. But if any vehicle, even one without a gate shield defuse, bangs up against them, the shield goes boom and crashes up against it, they'll trigger the mines and they'll die. I was hoping that would be an enemy flash.
Got extra ammunition here.
So basically, you're set up there, and because of that paint spire, no infantry can get in. This is where my Spitfire comes in for my engineer loadout, which is why I have that, even though I'm an engine vehicle driver. Stick it there to watch the gate. There you go, and also that hole there. And there we go. So now I'm going to do a little check through the inventory to see if I've placed everything. You also do this if your base has been attacked. So you come back to your base that's been attacked, you've had to kill the guy who's doing it, and you've repaired stuff and that. What you do is you come back to the terminal on the silo and you just check. So there's 1 of each of everything there. Right number of these are all still out. I'm not going to tell you yet about things like reinforcement modules and stuff because you won't be using those yet. I'll do a more comprehensive. This is a speed building base video. This is not a comprehensive base building video. I'll do another one of those for you later. Vehicle gate, one of those. All 3 turrets. You can only have one of each of the vehicle turrets up. Either the stumpy one, which is used for sitting on top of mountains and rocks, or hills rather. You can't put them on rocks because they're separate from the environment. You can only put them on the curvatures of the actual land itself. So there are situations where they're really useful to hide your base behind a hill, and stick one of those on top of the hill is really good. But normally use those. These blast balls can take a lot of damage. You usually use those to protect things that you've built outside the base. For example, the orbital strike. Orbital strikes are virtually, I call them virtually invincible, because you can put them outside your base, and it takes about 15 minutes for a whole squad full of armor pounding it to take it down if the silo is up. So they've got to get to the silo before they can really damage it. So you can just chuck that outside the base and it doesn't matter for the slightest. It helps if it's underneath the sky shield though, because people are a big liberator to come over and melt that, despite how invincible it is. I'm not going to put a flail or a glaive down on this occasion because I am just doing the basic thing, because you only need a flail if you're up against the front line. So say you built a base over here, tactical base, which I'm going to explain more about tactical bases in other videos. This is a router base that I'm doing right now though, an advanced router base. There's 2 types, basic, advanced. Basic router base is the silo and a routing spire, and that's it. One I've built here is an advanced router base, and then you've got tactical bases which you can build on front lines. So if the base has been attacked, or you just think you finished, just check through, make sure everything's up that you need to be up. So I go through the list like that. You can also see if anything's been destroyed. You only really need flails if you think you're going to have to defend your base against attack, or if somebody builds an enemy base near to mine, which there aren't. You see on the map there's no orbital strikes. Could be a base there, but they're not. It doesn't seem like there's a threat. If there is, you can just stick a flail up, wait for it to build, and then use it. Now you're definitely going to want to have a light vehicle terminal if you've got one. If you've not, don't worry, because if you need to come back and get caught in your silo, then you will you may not have any nanites. You may have pulled a max or loads of armor or thrown loads of grenades. You may not have any nanites, so you need to be able to come back to your base, grab an ant and go and get caught in them straight away. This is how you build it. You see how I've put this paint spire here right up the gate? There's a reason for that as well. So you spin, because we're going from the outside again. This is a vehicle terminal here with the terminal at the front. I'm going to look up and I'm going to spin it around so that I am... It doesn't have to be exact on this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk away. It's not going to let me do it because the ground's not flat. With these large items you need really flat ground, unless you build it in a certain way. But basically the idea, I won't build it on this occasion because it's just a video, but normally you see the little pokey bit that's sticking out of the end of my red thing. That's where the terminal is. I've spun it around so it's away from me, so you just push it right up against the gate there until it goes green, and then just lower it into the ground and just build it. And then that way the paint spire stops people, enemy infiltrators being able to hack your vehicle terminal and getting into the base. It's a really great way of covering loads of stuff all at once. As I can't do that here because it's this huge blob, I'm just going to stick it somewhere else, like nowhere for now. Okay, and that's basically it. So all 3 turrets are spinning and beeping because they're manned by the AI module. It's just there. You've got a alarm module, which you don't have to have, but it's really helpful. Otherwise you don't know if your base is getting attacked. If you come back to a base and it's taking damage, first thing you do is walk up to and repair your repair module. Repair module can repair everything else in the base. If things take a lot of damage, they eat a lot of caution from your silo though. The sky shield there, just check that as well. But the first thing you do is go to that. Quite often enemy infiltrators will take this out. That's okay. If you just might have to fly back here and just block another one down. And there's only one router, and that's me, so I've put it inside the base here. Okay, so that is basically the method of how you do a one-person base. Okay, you saw how I did it. I started off with the silo, then the air terminal. Okay, I put them facing in a line like that way, facing towards enemy front line on the map or thereabouts. The vehicle turret, sorry, is the first gun to go up, which goes to cover both directions here. If our enemies, the way they're going to come. Then on the other side, you've got the air terminal and the personnel turret at the back. Then you line up like this. You just walk sideways, plonk it down, get the air one, line up in a line like that, and then go and put it on the edge of the circle, plonk it down. Once you've done that, you can put the... what I've done here is the best way to do it. You can fit it right inside the base if you do it like this and build a nice contained base with no gaps. You just have to spin the tower sideways, and the circles, if you've done it in perfectly aligned, then these two circles meet kind of here. So what you do is to sneak past that is you just turn it sideways, because the back of the turret at the ground, so you see where that little text is floating above the join point of the collision box of the tower. So you can just squeeze it in right up against. If you just go straight side to side till it goes green, you can fit it in. And yeah, the first wall, to spin a wall so that you're looking from the outside, you look up. If you're spinning a wall to do it from the inside, you look down into the ground. So I span it round, put that one up, joined it either side there. Then for the side walls, I got behind the turrets like that, took 2 meters to the right, looking down the length of the wall, and then you saw what I did. I just passed it through the wall that's already been built and go back to its green, and then you just take one step forward into red, and then you can then move like your view around like that. As long as you don't take any steps, you see, then you can just connect the wall and it will connect perfectly. And with the energy gate at the back, I did it by just making sure that the parts of the walls that were built, same amount of wall was sticking through the red of my energy gate on both sides. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of strafing like this, like little taps, then adjust your view, and go like that, or do you know what I mean, or sort of come forward a bit, and you'll get the hang of it though. So you want it to look the same on both sides, then you just walk backwards, hold it still, and then walk backwards, and then just place it when it goes into the green. That's it for my speed base building video. I'm going to be posting another video later to show you guys how quickly it can actually be done. This exact base I will be building in a couple of minutes for you in a later video. However, I'm going to show you just quickly at the end of this video loadouts. I think I showed you the engineer loadout at the beginning. So yeah, anti-vehicle, weaponry, the mines, you saw me put those down with the base building, and the Spitfire to keep an eye on you. Got the mine thing there. Right, vehicles and base building, always stealth. Stealth, stealth, stealth. Battle ants, boost, great fun for battle. Frontline craziness with ants is fine, but if you're base building, you need stealth. You need to be unnoticed. You need to be sneaky. So stealth, stealth, stealth every time. So you've got the Howler mining laser. Okay, that farms Cortium at 2,300 plus Cortiums per, or Cortium points per burst before it runs out of power, and it cools down for a couple of seconds, then you fire it again. It's quicker. You can nip in and out. If you're on the front line fighting for Cortium with other people of your faction or even enemies, you can steal Cortium really quickly using it. You can also use that and this one here, the yellow jacket, to take down enemy walls and deconstruct enemy items to destroy them. But yeah, that's for another time. So yeah, Howler mining laser is the best one, but the standard one is fine. The mandible, that's fine too. It's just that this one is just quicker. It's worth saving up for. But before you save up for anything, you want the following. You want transport cloak. The first things you want to invest in are transport cloak. You want to get 1 point of that. Alright, and then, or 1 or 2, whatever, and then in answers you want radar and then storage. So yeah, so first thing, transport cloak, well, just buy 1 little brick of that. Then minimal radar, get 1 or 2 bricks of that. The more you can afford of that, the better, because it really does make a difference. When it's maxed out 600 meters, you can see every time you go to a bit of courting. Once you find the courting in the area, you'll already be able to see the next lot away, because they're always under 600 meters away from each other. If there is any in the area, they are always under 600 meters, like something like 550 meters. Corium storage, you can have up to 10k, but with a cut you can get up to 9 with just 1 or 2 bricks, so that's worth doing. And then you want the classic vehicle stealth. So we've got utility transport cloak, it's maxed out on mine. Vehicle stealth as well. You need racer frames, so you can move quickly. And the reason why I've got Basilisk on the top is it's on the end, it's got a really high rate of fire, it's versatile, you can use it on air and ground targets. And the reason why you use this setup is the following. If you get attacked by from the air while you're running around getting caught in, all you got to do is press the F key, go invisible, change direction and drive off. Okay, and they can't track you unless they're an incredibly good ESF pilot. They're 10 feet off the ground and they're tracking you. But 99% of the time you'll lose the air. However, if a harasser finds you, then you're pretty much dead anyway, even if you've got a gunner. But if they're a good harasser. But so what you do when you're driving around with the ant is you drive in third person always, so you press the T key and you just keep looking around. So you want to go invisible, you want to press F and cloak before the harasser clocks you. So before they've had a chance to Q spot you or to drive really close to you to lock you in on their radar. Once they've done that, they can follow you even if you're invisible. So you've got to keep your wits about you when you're driving around in the land looking for court team. You've got to keep spinning your camera around, make sure there's no... Listen out, if you've got headphones on, listen for that harasser engine sound approaching. Try and go invisible before they clock you. Aircraft, it's not so important because you can cloak right in front of them and drive off, and they 9 times out of 10 they won't be able to find you again. So that's it. That's the end of the video for basic speed base building for advanced router bases from Trans 75. Got any questions? Find me in Worlds. Ask any of the other officers. No problem. Always got the time for helping people with questions. Further videos to come on tactical bases and other issues. Thank you very much for your time.